All right, guys, and I know some people might be coming in throughout here, but we're going to go ahead and make this officially live here. So I'm going to be recording this, like I mentioned. You guys were on a couple minutes earlier, and so we can share this later if you'd like. But this is a really, I think, a topic that we could spend a whole lot of time on, and I'm just going to make sure we do a shortened version of this because I know that we have limited time, and I just want to make sure we're covering the basis of what this program is really about and to help kind of give you some suggestions as you're looking to maybe increase your health goals and adding some maybe new options into your life for long-term focus is a really big part of this. So real quick, my story, I'm Amanda Villarreal. I have been in the health and wellness industry for 24 years now. I personal training, group fitness, do nutrition consulting, and then also have been with Shaklee since I was 17 years old, started because of my own health concerns and have continued throughout the years to incorporate the products with my family, with our clients, and am just amazed as you guys will, hear me add in little pieces throughout this of what Shaklee can bring in so many different avenues of your health, of your life. It's an amazing community of people. And, at this point, it's actually become a significant source for our income here also. Now, when we're starting to look at, making some changes, I know myself and Kate that's on here, we just finished our 7-day cleanse. So this is an excellent way. How you feeling, Kate?
Good. I feel really good. I was ready. I was excited to eat something other than a vegetable today, but I actually really enjoyed the cleanse. So
great. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I agree. I was very excited to have regular food at this point. But, when you look at what a cleanse is, and I think people are very scared of them, I don't know. Speaking from just coming off from this, I felt like it's just a really great way to help revamp your diet, getting you trying new recipes, focusing on fruits and vegetables, getting your body prepared to better absorb nutrients, and just to allow us to really get a bigger picture of maybe what your diet is really entailing. And this is a perfect start for some of you that may have some big health concerns that you need to look at really resetting your body. We do the cleanse maybe once or twice a year. We also offer a monthly reset, and you guys will see we try to offer a lot of support for you. So whoever you're working with, we really want to help you in any area that you need to focus on. And I think this cleanse and reset for many of you, you will notice that this is a perfect way to help get you started in that direction for better health. Now, this is an excellent promotion right now. I said I was going to throw out there throughout this what current incentives are, that if you purchase through a Health Print the turnaround kit, you can get this cleanse for free right now. So that is a $50 value. So again, I encourage you to check out that Health Print. It is a really great way to be able to have an option to, get started for free with this cleanse. So, all right. So looking at, our main focus here of our turnaround and, looking at why we need to, I don't necessarily like to always use the word weight loss because I feel like that really puts people into a category of saying that we are always looking at a diet. And that is not what this is about. We really want to be thinking of what this can do for getting us to our healthiest weight and how our body can function better. And I think that you'll notice that as, you learn more and you go through your own health journey, that weight is a contributing factor to so many different health concerns that we would never correlate not sleeping well with excess weight, or as you guys can see in this picture here, asthma. I think you probably are familiar, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, but even things like depression, migraines, we don't always correlate a symptom with what is truly the main factor that's contributing to those symptoms. And that's what we are really about, is trying to figure out how can we get to the bottom of what's going on and use a natural approach to hopefully notice we experience less of these symptoms and better long-term health. So losing weight is going to be definitely a jumpstart for many of us. And I also want to mention here, this doesn't have to mean that, I think a lot of us think, overweight, obesity, 30 plus pounds, but this could be 5-10 pounds for many of us. And I see Tara on your channel too. Hey, Tara. Hey, Sarah. I know Tara, when she said if she did her cleanse, 10 pounds, that's, you guys lift weights. 10 pounds is a lot of weight. And just a small amount of noticing, like, those changes of how much less stress it has on your body is incredible. So we really want to look at, even if it's just a few pounds you need to lose, if that's going to help you feel better, have more energy, sleep better, it is worth it. And we want these results to be long-term. So look at the examples here of looking at, small changes, and how can we start to maybe evaluate what area of our health we need to focus on. Is it more your diet? Is it adding exercise? Is it adding some supplements? And how can you best get the support you need to meet those long-term goals? Now, there are so many different testimonials that we could share, and I can, personally, if you have maybe some health concerns, that we could probably even connect you with someone that could even tell you even more insight into what they do. But there is just a phenomenal resource of these testimonials because of the fact that when you look at a company like Shaklee, it has been around for 100 plus years. And this specific weight program has been revamped for over 30 years. As it gets evaluated, it continues to change. And so what you see now is the latest of what you will find for a long-term successful way to help get yourself at a healthy weight. And I think that is what, again, a key factor that I really want you to note. Again, I've worked with people overweight for 20 plus years now, and it really, you got to note that it's not a trend. This has been happening for years, and people jump on these new trends, these new fads, and they just keep going back to them, losing the weight, gaining the weight. We'll talk about that in a second, of yo-yo dieting. But we really want to look at long-term. And this is Charles, and he still to this day has, lost his weight and continued to maintain it. And if you read on the screen there just a little bit about, what he stated about the program, I think that some things to note, though, that he's a dad. He works full time. This is something that we can fit into our life in any way. You do not have to create this. You guys ever watch The Biggest Loser, extreme makeover shows? These things where it's like you got to work out 8 hours a day. You have to hire a chef to make your food. We need something that's simple. And I think that that's what you will find with this turnaround, that it is simple, easy to follow. I have had clients that have done this for 10 plus years, and they are still maintaining their weight. And that's what we want you to be thinking about, is, again, that long term. Here's just a few more examples. Justin and Wayne, I really love to highlight, if you guys can get a buddy, that is just even more of an accountability factor for you to help yourself be successful. So if you have a spouse that could do it with you, you have a good friend. If you don't, we could partner you up with somebody. We will have a Facebook group that is specific to supporting our team and their members. So if you have, you want to be able to ask questions, you need to have a way to be able to feel like you are, we're going to struggle. We want to struggle with you, and we want to help to be able to help you overcome those struggles to help best meet your goals. And this is another one we hear a lot. Oh, I had kids. I don't think I can get back in shape again. I'm always going to be overweight. And I will 100% fight back with that and say that that is not the case for anybody. It doesn't matter what you've had in the past, that we want to work on your future. And that's what's really going to be the deciding factor for if you decide to do this. We want you to look at this as a long-term plan. And that's actually why this is called a 180. 90 days, we focus on trying to make those changes, 90 days to maintain, and then it becomes part of your life. So when we look at dieting and the cycle of what happens, we notice that as we eat food and we go through our day-to-day diet, that a lot of times the focus becomes very specific to calories. So when we decrease our calories, we're going to notice that our body goes into that feast or famine response. And when that happens, your body stores fat and holds on to it. So when you start to eat normal again, you all of a sudden gain back more than you had before because your body thought it was starving. And this is the exact approach that we really, really need to make sure that we are watching, that we are trying to avoid, because your muscle is generally where your fat is coming from. Loss is coming from fat. And we want it to be specifically always fat and not muscle. So I might have said that wrong there, but most diets are going to be pulling the weight loss from muscle. And we want to, again, make sure that this is what happens. You can see two people here. And I have some great examples of these two, of even people I've worked with that, you might think, I had a client, for example, she was about 115 pounds. And you would think 115 pounds means somebody is very small. But when you looked at her, her body type was very much so she carried it in her waist and her hips, which is a huge precursor for many risk factors for health. And when she started exercising and losing weight, it was funny because her weight loss was only 1 pound, but her body mass was amazing, how she lost about 3% body fat. And people were asking her all the time what she was doing that helped her to look so different and lose all this weight. She only lost 1 pound, but it was because she lost it from fat. And that is a perfect example here of showing this picture. And this is what we want it to happen. It's not necessarily about the scale. It's about trying to achieve the long-term health of losing it how we're supposed to and making sure that we can continue to keep that off long-term. This is another great thing to mention. If you are looking at any program, I really don't care what it is, see if there are some clinical studies supporting the program. And this is, again, very specific to Shaklee, and the 300 plus products they have is they are specific to making sure they always are sourced from nature, but they also have the scientific proof to back them up. So results. This is just talking about how using the 180 program with exercise, that it's going to be much more effective. So we want you to look at how are you going to increase your activity while you are starting this program. And the average, looking at a 6-month program here, is trying to make sure that we notice that the pounds that are coming off, and again, is noticing it's coming from waist and hips, is generally where most people notice it. And like I said, that's an excellent response to showing that the fat that's coming off is going to be long-term, that's what we're really trying to focus on. Now, there is a new study, and I really like that this is a great example of showing how long-term, so this would actually be a year long, because they showed what happened after 6 months and then after a year, that the study that was done, these people replaced 2 meals a day with a Life Shake, which is part of the turnaround. They exercised for 40 minutes twice a week, very doable for most of us. And then they followed a healthy nutrition and diet plan for their dinner and making sure that they stayed within a decent calorie range. And again, that's pretty easy to figure out for most of us. And in your actual turnaround kit, you will get a guide that helps to explain exactly where your calorie range should be. And I was going to show you the guide here really fast. So it'll give you an example here of just kind of going through and giving you roughly, if you weigh somewhere, around 150 pounds, your calories are going to be around 1,200. So you will get this in your kit that gives you a great breakdown of exactly where you should be at. But again, it's not specifically to counting calories. It's not about counting points. This is not about, trying to make sure that you stay at a specific number. It's getting you to think about eating real food, focusing on trying to get your body to functionally optimize how you're using nutrition, and you'll be amazed at how naturally this just starts to happen. So again, if you're reading through the numbers there, 83% of the people actually completed the regimen of 6 months, which if you look at any weight loss program out there, you guys probably know, look at January, February, for example, going to the gym, how busy it is. Most people after about 4 to 6 weeks, they're done, and that's the same with starting a program. So we want to look at those long-term results. So again, they lost an average of 14 pounds of fat and they gained 4 pounds of muscle. If you look at any weight loss program out there, there is no program that I've ever found besides this one that participants actually maintain 100% of their muscle mass. So that is a key contributing factor. And the main thing behind that is actually something called leucine, which we're going to be talking about here in a second. Now, I said we're going to incorporate some of our specials throughout this. This is another one for our team that we are offering, that if you start your turnaround through the month of January, we extended this, that we will provide you with online workout access. So you can have the workouts along with your diet. And the great thing about these is they're all online. So you don't have to go anywhere. 20 minutes, very simple to follow. And we can cater them to whatever, again, your specific goals are. But again, that is just another tool to help make this easier for you to follow. So our 180 products, this is where we need to get into helping you again understand what are you going to be doing? How does this work? What do you have to do? And I can tell you again, this is very, very simple to follow. I mentioned leucine. That is going to be our key factor that is in every single one of the products. And that is an amino acid that helps your body to actually burn fat. Again, not coming from muscle, but actually burning fat. And we could spend a lot of time just specifically talking about leucine. But again, the main thing to note, it is helping to maintain muscle preservation. So that is our focus of leucine. Everything is non-GMO, which again, another important factor that's hard to find even buying food today is getting non-genetically modified food. And we want this again to be long-term focused, and anything that's genetically modified, we do not know the long-term correlation of our health with using genetically modified options. Nothing artificial, no sweeteners, no preservatives. Again, another concern that I have found when people bring me a lot of their products, that you will find stimulants and a lot of different supplements out there. And that, again, is not realistic. It's not long-term, and oftentimes triggers a lot of serious health concerns and risk factors. So really be careful when you're reading your labels. And again, you don't have to worry about that with any of these products. Gluten-free, another thing that we tend to find is people are really having a hard time with digesting gluten. And so Shaklee has actually chose from the beginning to almost keep every single one of their products gluten-free. So you can be confident that that is not going to be an issue with this, and that everything is going to be low glycemic. So what does that mean? Basically, you're not going to notice the fluctuations of, like, if you drink a pop, for example, and all of a sudden you're got tons of energy, and then an hour later you crash and you want another one. It's the same with drinking coffee. You know, that's why people drink so much. They drink it, they feel good, and then they stop, and then they need another one. And this low glycemic factor is going to make this so you stay even. Sorry, hang on 1 second here. Scarlett, you just have to push the button, honey. It's okay, you can, honey. Go ahead. Sorry. She has her little gal bundled up to go outside, and she can't figure out to open the garage door. Okay, here we go. So here's a breakdown of what our day should look like. So we want to have a great start with the day, beginning right away with using either a shake or a meal bar. You can pick if you're on the go. It's awesome to know that there are meal bar options. And again, I'll show you a little bit more about these here in a second. You always want to make sure that, just like those of us coming off the cleanse and our reset right now, it was the same thing during that we are trying to get in the habit of keeping our furnace fueled at all times, which is our metabolism. So if we can keep eating every 2 to 3 hours, we're going to keep that metabolism optimally fueled. So we want to make sure we're having a snack. And when we look at our snacks, we want to keep it focusing on trying to pair a fiber with a protein, that we are allowing ourselves to have something that is going to keep us in between meals, but not the calories of a meal. So we may grab, an apple with peanut butter. We may use the snack bars because that's going to be a balanced option. We could have, carrots with hummus. We're, again, trying to incorporate different healthy options, but in a manner that helps to keep still our body feeling good in between meals. Lunch, there you go, quick breakdown there. We take our meal or our shake. We have our 180 metabolic boost with each meal. And again, I'll explain that here in a second. Another snack, and then a balanced dinner. Now, in that little guide that I mentioned you'll get with your kit, there are a couple different resources for understanding different meals. We are going to provide in our Facebook group lots of recipes for you so you don't get bored, and that is really important. You want to eat with your family. You want to have big enough portion sizes that you don't feel like you have to constantly be making separate meals, because none of us want to do that, and I know a lot of us here have kids. So we want to have something that's healthy that we can all have together. And oftentimes I encourage you to make bigger portions. So if you need to have leftovers, your spouse could take it in their lunch, or you could even use that for another meal throughout the week. So we want this to be simple, and that is a way to do it, is by properly planning what you're going to have for that last meal. All right, so let's get into breaking down individually the products here for a moment, so you know why these are different. And again, there's so much science behind these, I can't even touch on this in the amount of time we have right now. But just to note, first example, this little metabolic boost. This is what you're going to take with breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You do not have to worry about contraindications with anything else you're taking. So we're not telling you to stop taking your medications or taking your other vitamins. You can take all that together. But the metabolic boost is has a specific property of helping your body to increase how it burns fat. And the studies that have been shown on this, it actually helps increase your fat burning by 30%. So just by taking that metabolic boost, you're going to burn fat faster than not using it at all. And what it has in there is something called EGCG. Doesn't matter if you can pronounce it or say it. That's basically a flavonoid that comes from green tea that's used to boost your metabolism. And when people hear boost, they get scared, because they think that means that their metabolism is going to be all out of whack after this. And this has the exact opposite. It will actually regulate metabolism. So even when you go off from this, your metabolism is going to stay how it was while you were using it. And that's hard to believe, but it's very different in how this helps to create a thermogenic effect in your body. So it's creating heat, which is going to allow your metabolic rate to increase to burn fat. And the goal is that your metabolism then is going to continue to keep that same cycle going. And it also is paired with some things like chromium, vanadium, banana leaf, and those are also key factors in helping to stabilize your blood sugar. And again, there's a lot of science behind this, and I don't want to overwhelm you, but I want you to know this is different. This is not just a vitamin that you take for fun. There's a purpose behind it, and you take it with each meal because of the different things that it helps to improve for that long-term success. Now, the other thing we use with this is our tea. And you'll see a little picture of our tea here, this energizing tea. It comes in pomegranate or matcha, or excuse me, just green tea. They are all matcha teas that's in this. And this little stick, and I'm sure if I ask anybody here that uses this, this is a daily staple for all of us. I don't care if you're trying to just be healthy. This is an amazing, simple go-to. It's a little stick. You grab it, you dump it in your bottle. It's easy, it's convenient, but yet you will notice instantly how much energy you have and how much better you feel, more alert. And again, it's because of what is in this. There are 3 different types of matcha teas. There's actually a red, white, and green that are in both of the flavors. Doesn't matter if you do pomegranate or regular. Now, real quick to break it down, your white tea that's in this is your least processed type of tea leaf that you can purchase. And again, our standards are above organic, so you can make sure there's no pesticides, herbicides, anything used in any of our tea leaves. Then you have your green tea, and that is your alkalizing part of the tea that's in this. And this also has the antioxidants that help to boost your metabolism, so that's why the green is in there. And then you have our red, which is actually called the rooibos tea. And the red actually has 50 times more antioxidant properties than just green tea. So this is why they don't just say drink green tea, because there's so much more than this, because these also have in there then the matcha powder, which the matcha then creates, again, a higher metabolic rate. It boosts your metabolism by 35 to 40%, and it's very high in beta carotene. So the great thing about using this is, again, you're adding nutrition. You're not just using this for energy, you're using this to create a healthier you. And it also is partnered with taurine. And taurine helps with alertness, and like I said, it helps you with feeling calmer, but it also helps to reduce your appetite. So we're trying to lose weight. This will help with cravings. So love the tea. So we want to make sure that we're incorporating this. You can use this several times a day. If you are someone that uses a lot of caffeine, you may need to use this definitely a couple times a day, because we want to get you off from that caffeine and using something that's not addictive and that doesn't have any side effects. So when you start to cut caffeine, you will notice side effects, which probably means, if you think about it, it's just like sugar, that somehow it's almost like a drug in our body. And we want to get rid of those things that are creating that dependence. And you will notice, again, a tremendous difference with using our tea. Snack bars. This is going to be your in-between go-to. There are several flavors. There's toffee and chocolate. There's coconut chocolate, there's peanut butter, and then there's almond cherry. And they are great because they're perfect for on the go. They are low glycemic. There's that word again. We want to make sure we're keeping that focus. It has leucine in there again, which we mentioned, key for helping us to maintain the muscle mass. 130 to 150 calories, so it's perfect in between meals to help make sure we're staying within that range. Here's the keys, those 2 guys, that it has that balance effect, 9 to 10 grams of protein, 3 grams of fiber. So we're helping to keep our digestive system optimally functioning because we're getting enough fiber. We're going to get into the meal shakes here next, and the meal bars, which have 6 grams of fiber. So if you're doing 2 shakes and you're doing 1 snack bar a day, you almost have all your fiber you need a day just by doing those products. So, the average American, I would say, gets maybe 5 to 6 grams of fiber, and we need to be 20 plus. So that's a huge issue when we're noticing a lot of digestive troubles. Are you getting enough fiber? And we need to make sure that we are watching that. And starting this program, you will notice that you probably do notice your bowels functioning much better, that you're starting to get rid of some of that, just that bloated feeling. You don't feel as achy anymore. You start to just feel everything works better when you're giving your body what it needs. And that's, again, what we want to focus on here with our turnaround. And the last thing that we have here is our meal shakes and our meal bars. So these are now, it's called, it's kind of evolved throughout, and you'll see these ones are the Life Shakes. It has a little different label now, but the focus is the same here, that this is really a readily absorbed, balanced, complete protein to help with giving our bodies energy. And this has all of your essential amino acids in there, which, remember, leucine is an amino acid. So those are all covered to help giving exactly what you need in a balanced way. So we make sure that we are at all times feeling fuller, longer. We have the the simplicity of being able to, you don't have to make this a fancy smoothie, but you gladly can. You know, we love to make them different. We want you to have variety so you don't get bored. You can throw fruit in there. You can throw vegetables in there. You can just mix it up in a shaker cup in the morning. You can do this with water. If you don't want to use milk, you're going to do 3 scoops. You can do a plant-based version. You can do a soy option. Again, this is customizable to meet wherever you are starting. So, you know, that's going to be the key, that you have the person that you're working with kind of guide you on what the best way to get started is, because there are options. So we want to be able to walk you through that and help you understand, you know, what is going to be the best way to begin and set up that turnaround for you. Now, again, I always like to highlight this because this is part of the Shaklee difference, that 100% money back guarantee. So if you start this and you notice that you have any issues, you are struggling, you know, that's not going to be a reason to get your money back. We want you to get your money back because you're not getting what you thought you were. Like, we want you to struggle with this. We want you to have to work through this a little bit in order to get those benefits. So we really encourage you to stick with it for at least a month, but note that at any time you're not happy, no questions asked, it's a full refund. So again, it's not a 30-day, 60-day. And again, that's very, very hard to find with any other product in the marketplace today that is a 100% money back guarantee. The last thing I want to mention here real quick, and I'll open up for questions here, is that part of Shaklee is sharing. And that's what we do, and that's why we are all here, to be able to help guide you. Shaklee is a company that's very unique in how it is only distributed through people like us that are out there sharing it. And there's definitely perks for that. So if you're trying to figure out ways that maybe you can afford your products, or you're looking for different ways to be involved, note that Shaklee, one of their greatest products is actually their opportunity that goes hand in hand with this turnaround. And we would love to be able to show you ways that we can get your products paid for. We can help assist you if you need some help, maybe with looking at other avenues for income. So we want you to know that that is another part of Shaklee that we would be happy to explore and share with you. So the last thing here, just to mention again, recapping very quickly, if you decide to start your turnaround, we encourage you to for sure do it before the end of this month. And not just because you're going to get the free online workouts, but because Shaklee is offering an awesome incentive that if you purchase the turnaround, you will continue to get 20% off any of your turnaround products through June of this year. So that is 20% off member price. And as long as I've been with Shaklee, they've never offered a deal like this on any product line. So I think that that's very advantageous to all of you, because they're helping to make the products even more affordable. And again, that is an awesome incentive. You can get your cleanse for free by doing it through HealthPrint. You get the discount, the 20% off all your products. And we are, again, offering you the workouts to help make this a complete program for you. So, all right, I did mute a couple of you, so if you want to unmute yourself here real quick, and I will just open it up here real fast to see if you have any questions or any comments or anything you'd like me to explain. Anybody have anything here real fast?
Hey, Amanda.
Yeah.
When you talk about doing the shakes a day, or shake and a meal bar and then a sensible dinner, is that for the full 180 days, or is that just for the first 90?
Great question, Kate. Yes, that would be until you meet your goal. Once you meet your goal, so that could take for some people 90, it could be longer if you have an excessive amount of weight to lose, then you will go to what is considered just our lean and healthy. So that would mean you're doing the shakes once a day, and then you're doing, you know, your meals for breakfast, or excuse me, your other 2 meals are going to be your focus on getting the healthier meal options. But yeah, until you meet your goal, yes, you will stick with doing the program until that point. And then it's maintenance after that. Great question. 2 other things I want to make sure I do add in here real fast is, if you are starting this way, we do want you to be on a multivitamin. That is not included in this pack. So we really would look at adding a Vital E at least as your lowest option, just to make sure you're covering all your vitamins and minerals. So Vital E, very inexpensive, will cost you around $10 a month. So add your vitamin with this kit. And there is also something that is not included with this, but there are also something called Snack Crisps. So if you're looking for more snack options, there are these little, they look like little pita chips, and there's barbecue or there's sea salt, but they also are a crunchy option for people that need another quick snack go-to. It still has a 6 grams of protein, and it still is a balanced, low glycemic, leucine packed snack option. So I wanted to mention that too, since it's not shown on this picture. So, all right, good. Anybody else? Questions, comments? All right. Great, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording. I hope you found that to be very helpful, and I will hang out here for a second if you do have a question, and thank you for joining us.